Over the course of a reporting effort, one of the tasks of the GIS person is to produce a map series, and for reporting efforts um, where figures can be comprised of as many as 100 figures in some cases, um, one of the challenges that really crops up uh, has to do with the renumbering and the wordsmithing of different, what I'm going to refer here as text elements or cartographic elements within a figure that put the whole map sort of in context. These could be these are these text elements can be things like a figure title, every little piece of text here, a file path, the author, figure number, client billing numbers, the Parsons billing numbers. Each one of these things, usually at some point during the figure production, end up getting changed, and many times the changes for these are requested a day or two before all of the figures are actually due, and we've exhausted a lot of the budget for creating the figures. Well, it's not a big deal for a few figures, but it does become sort of a big deal when we're talking about efforts where we have in excess of 20 or 30 figures. You can see in this example right here, this is a spreadsheet that was given to me from our project manager, where we started off with our old figure numbers. At the end of the phase of writing the report, they moved to a different numbering scheme for the figures. Some of the titles had actually changed, and then we had a third round of figure number changes, and this took a long time, and the reason it does take a long time is because each one of these figures has to be opened up individually, and those items have to be touched, they have to be double clicked, they have to be changed. You have to do that for every single text element. And you repeat this process 30 or 40 times to recreate the PDF, and it takes some time. A way to get a handle on this, and a better way to approach this problem, which we see time and time again, is to spend the time up front to name each one of these text elements properly, so that you can go back later to use a Python script when you want to automate the changes associated with this. And this involves giving each one of these text elements a name up front. This is a client WBS, Parsons WBS. So you can see that during the construction of each one of the figures beforehand, we went through and we named each one of these elements. Again, this is important because it allows us to run Python script that goes through, does a bunch of stuff, but changes each one of those text items for us. It can process 50 files and a matter of just a few minutes, whereas it would take at least a full day for a person to go through, open each file, change the data that's in it, re-export the data. It's labor intensive. So, right, taking advantage of Python scripting to do this is a big time saver for us. So the workflow that I've come up with here is I wrote one Python script that goes through, it goes into a GIS map file, it grabs all these little elements according to their element name, it attributes an Excel file, actually a CSV file with those values. that file can then be given to the project team, who will change those values to what they want. They give the CSV file back to the GIS person, who then runs a second script which takes their changes and incorporates that into the mxd, and then it can be re-PDF'd. So it's streamlined and it's a lot quicker. So let's go ahead and try it. I've packaged this tool as so it can just be delivered to other GIS people that they don't have to know Python to be able to run this. So I'm going to name this file temp2, and I'm going to go ahead and run it now. Alright, you can see that it took, let's see, it was just roughly about 15 seconds to run. And we're going to go ahead and go to the output of that file. And for just a heads up, for this example, there's 2 files in the directory that I ran it on, and the items that we're going to be looking at are the this Parsons WBS and the client WBS, as well as the figure number, I believe. Let's see, yeah, a figure number. So you can see it created the file inside the same directory, and again, this is exactly what it did. Here's the values that we were just looking at. Those came directly from the mxd files that I just showed. So I just want to go ahead and standardize some of these. Some of these things have changed or whatnot. So this is what the project team would fill out. They'd change the CSV to whatever they wanted. They'd go ahead and save it, and they'd return it to their GIS person. So again, the second part of this script are the workflows to take the spreadsheet that was given to the project manager or whomever, where they change the values. We put it into this script, which then goes back and changes those values inside the mxds. Let's go ahead and check those now. So here's the values that we wanted to change the map files to, and you can see that they were in fact changed right here to 52B with the right project and client project numbers, as well as in the other mxd as well. Again, over the course of whenever you have a bunch of figures where this needs to be done, this is absolutely the path that you want to take for time savings.